What's up, Ravens fans? It is officially the offseason, and that means that the conversation is now focused on wide receivers.
Oh, gosh.
That's the sign of the offseason months here in Baltimore. That's where we'll start this week's Ravens Mailbag. The first question is from Smooth for Real, and Smooth wants to know, do we plan on getting an elite wide receiver anytime soon to get open for Lamar Jackson?
All right, I want somebody to keep track of how many times we answer this same question or one like it. It's going to be over 2 dozen.
Yeah. Oh, 2 dozen, that's the low end.
That's low, right.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't think that wide receiver is at the top of the Ravens' priorities this offseason, especially given the offense that they have now led by Lamar Jackson. I think that bolstering the offensive line and even running back is probably higher in that pecking order. You know, the Ravens have a good O-line, but they can make it even better. If you get a dominant unit up front, you could really be on something. Last year, they drafted a couple of wide receivers, Jordan Lastly, Jaleel Scott. You got some tight ends. You got some passing weapons. Now, I do think that the Ravens are going to be a little bit still in rebuild mode with their wide receiver core because John Brown was on a 1-year deal. Don't know the future of Michael Crabtree. Willie Snead, he could probably be back. He's under contract. But still, you got to replace 2 of your top 3 wide receivers. Is that going to come from last year's rookies? Is that going to come from a guy like Chris Moore? I don't know. But I don't think that it's something where the Ravens are hitting the emergency button like they were last year and said, this is our number 1 priority is wide receivers in free agency. I think more likely they're going to attack it in the draft.
And the thing about the draft this year is that early right now, the feeling is that not necessarily a top-heavy draft, but a lot of good depth, you know, as you go through the end of the first round, second and third round. So that could be where the Ravens look to pounce.
Yep.
All right, you talk about running back. That's our next question here. This question comes from Jordan, and Jordan wants to know, will the Ravens make a play for Le'Veon Bell?
Oh.
I think there's probably 31 teams in the NFL whose fan bases are asking this question about Le'Veon
32.
Bell.
Don't rule out the Steelers fan base on
Yeah,
that one.
that's true. Here's where I think about Le'Veon Bell. Would he be a good fit in this offense? Yeah. I mean, I think he'd be a great running back for just about every team. The question for me is, obviously, this is going to be a guy that breaks the bank. He wants to get the biggest contract possible. You don't sit out an entire season in your prime and then go to a team where it's not going to pay you the most. Right. Historically speaking, the Ravens have not been a team that goes and pays other free agents so much, significantly more than other teams around the NFL. So I kind of see this being a difficult one to make happen. Yeah. With that said, the Ravens are obviously going to have some money that comes off the books. You know, Joe Flacco's money, that could be spent somewhere. So I agree with you that I think the Ravens are going to look to upgrade the running back position. Would Le'Veon Bell do that? Yes. But I think it's going to come at too high of a cost.
Yeah, I don't think the Ravens are going to spend the money. I think they're more likely to spend that money keeping some of their defensive pieces than they are to sign an expensive running back, especially when you saw the success that undrafted
James
rookie. I'm saying Gus Edwards. Look at Gus Edwards, an undrafted rookie, was running pretty well. I still do think the Ravens will attack running back in the draft, but I don't think that they're looking at that as a position where, hey, we need to invest a lot. And he's going to go to some team like the Jets, who have a lot of salary cap room, a young quarterback, somebody like that.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the last question here, and this is from Mr. Kokoski. And the question is, what are the prospects of convincing Eric Weddle to join the Ravens coaching staff once his playing days are over? This kind of reminds me of the question we used to get out Ray Lewis all the time.
Yes. I mean, it's really interesting. I don't think the chances are very good, not to burst the bubble there, but I think that Eric Weddle, when his playing days are done, he's going to go back to California and spend a lot of time with his family in California and probably enjoy that for a little while. He's got number of young kids.
Yeah.
Then maybe ultimately he could get into coaching, I think, but I don't think it's something he's going to jump into immediately. And if he were going to do that, I have a feeling it would be somewhere on the West Coast.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I do think he could be a good coach, and his coaches say that, his teammates say that. Basically, he's been a coach on the field, but when you got such a young family, want to enjoy that California sun for a little bit. And
I would a high school coach or something like that, or some college coach or something like that.
I think he'd be great for that, but I also don't necessarily think we should totally rule out him playing football. Next year, too.
Definitely, yeah.
Still on the table. So, hey, look, we love to hear from you guys throughout the offseason, so keep sending in those questions, those wide receiver questions in particular.
Those in particular.
Yeah, exactly. Send them to us at #RavensMailbag. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.